In a dimly lit apartment above a Los Angeles video rental shop in the late 1980s. A high school dropout, with wild hair and encyclopedic knowledge of obscure kung fu films typed furiously on a second-hand typewriter, dreaming not of Hollywood glamour, but of movies that pulsed with raw energy, sharp dialogue, and unapologetic violence. He wasn't writing to please studios, he was writing to resurrect the grindhouse spirit he loved. That man was Quentin Tarantino, and though he had never attended film school, he would go on to redefine modern cinema, win 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Screenplay, and become one of the most influential directors of his generation, not by following rules, but by gleefully exploding them. Born on March 27, 1963, in Knoxville, Tennessee, Quentin Jerome Tarantino moved to Los Angeles with his mother, Connie Mayhew, at age 4 after his parents' divorce. Raised in the working-class neighborhood of Harbor City, he grew up immersed in pop culture, comic books, TV westerns, blaxploitation films, and spaghetti westerns. His stepfather, Curtis Stupel, introduced him to classic cinema, but it was his teenage job at Video Archives in Manhattan Beach that became his true film school. For 5 years, he watched, catalogued, and passionately debated thousands of movies, from Sergio Leone epics to Hong Kong action flicks, absorbing narrative structures, visual styles, and genre tropes like a sponge. He dropped out of Narbonne High School at 15 to pursue acting, but found greater fulfillment behind the camera. He wrote short scripts, acted in low-budget theater, and directed a 30-minute film called My Best Friend's Birthday, which was partially destroyed in a lab fire. Undeterred, he turned to screenwriting with obsessive focus. In 1992, his script for Reservoir Dogs, a nonlinear heist-gone-wrong thriller filled with profane banter, moral ambiguity, and sudden brutality, caught the attention of producer Lawrence Bender. Made for just $1.2 million, the film premiered at Sundance and shocked audiences with its raw intensity and iconic ear-cutting scene. Critics hailed it as a landmark in independent cinema. But it was Pulp Fiction, 1994, that catapulted him into legend. Blending intersecting storylines, biblical quotes, dance sequences, and philosophical hitmen, the film redefined narrative structure for a new era. It won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, earned 7 Oscar nominations, and took home Best Original Screenplay. More importantly, it made stars of John Travolta, revitalized Uma Thurman's career, and turned Samuel L. Jackson into a cultural icon. Its influence was immediate and vast, from coffee shop conversations to film school syllabi. Everyone quoted Royale with cheese and debated the contents of Marcellus Wallace's briefcase. Tarantino didn't just direct movies, he curated experiences. He revived forgotten actors, like Robert Foster in Jackie Brown, championed vintage soundtracks, and shot on film long after digital became standard. His sets were collaborative playgrounds where actors improvised within tightly written frameworks, and every detail, from license plates to diner menus, carried meaning. He believed cinema should be visceral, unpredictable, and alive with personality. His work often courted controversy. Accused of glorifying violence, he argued that his films used brutality to explore morality, power, and consequence. Criticized for excessive use of racial slurs, he maintained historical authenticity, especially in period pieces like Django Unchained, 2012, a revisionist western, where a freed slave hunts bounty hunters to rescue his wife. The film sparked debate, but also won him his 2nd Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, and made Jamie Foxx a leading man. Django Unchained marked a shift toward historical revenge fantasies. In Inglourious Basterds, 2009, he rewrote World War II history by having Jewish soldiers scalp Nazis and burn Hitler alive in a Paris cinema. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, he offered a tender, alternate ending to the Manson murders, letting Sharon Tate live and Bruce Lee shine. These weren't just escapism, they were cinematic justice, crafted by a director who believed movies could heal cultural wounds through fantasy. Known for declaring he would retire after his 10th film, Tarantino has remained fiercely disciplined about his legacy. He writes every script by hand, avoids CGI, and insists on practical effects. He rarely uses smartphones or social media, preferring vinyl records, paperbacks, and movie theaters. His personal life is private. He married Israeli singer Daniela Pick in 2018 and lives in Beverly Hills, surrounded by film memorabilia and first-edition novels. Beyond directing, he's a passionate cinephile. He owns the new Beverly Cinema, a historic Los Angeles theater he saved from closure, programming double features of cult classics exactly as he believes they should be seen, on 35mm, with an audience, no phones allowed. He's written novels based on his films, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and directed stage plays, proving his storytelling transcends medium. His impact on global cinema is immeasurable. Directors from South Korea to France cite him as inspiration. His use of nonlinear timelines, chapter titles, and eclectic soundtracks has been endlessly imitated. Yet his true innovation lies in voice, the belief that characters should speak like real people, full of digressions, humor, and rhythm. He turned dialogue into music and violence into ballet. Now in his 60s, with 9 films released and his 10th reportedly in development, Tarantino stands as a bridge between old Hollywood and new, a self-taught auteur who proved you don't need a degree to master cinema, only obsession, taste, and the courage to be loud, messy, and utterly original. He didn't just make movies, he reminded the world why we fall in love with them in the first place. For the thrill, the talk, the blood, and the magic that happens when the lights go down and the projector hums to life.